Alright, this is going to be a trade recap of today's price action in the two trades that I took, one L, one loss, that ended up making me $1,154.16. So let's get straight into it. First of all, coming into the day, I was bearish. We were, as we can see, we had these gaps right here got inverse. We had this gap right here that got respected, and we had good draws below within these relative equal lows down here, which was also a daily intermediate low, and then this new week opening gap down here that I wanted to see get filled. Don't know why that happened. So then if we come over to market open, taking forever. So if we come over to market open here, we see at 8:30 we created this data high with NFP, and then this is honestly, I messed up right here because I did not take this 2-minute short. Now I did not take this. This was by far the best trade of the day. I did not take this, so it would have been taken down to this 30-minute, I think, or there was some low over here, I forget. Yeah, this low right here, I think. I would have taken this down to this low right here, and it would have smacked a 1 to 2 right there, but I did not take this because of this data high above, so I didn't want to trade against this data high. But one thing that I missed is that we actually traded into a 30-minute gap, not just this 5-minute. This was actually a 30-minute gap that we traded into that I actually did not see. So that's I mean, obviously that's my mistake. I should have checked that chart as well. And if I saw this 30-minute gap, because this is a high time frame gap, where the 5-minute technically is too, but it's not as strong, but it is delivering out of a 15-minute, so it is sponsored by this 15-minute up here. But if I saw this 30-minute gap, obviously it's higher conviction than the 5-minute. So if this 30-minute gap should have and would have been my condition for the day, and if I saw this big move out of a 30-minute gap, I probably would have taken this. Obviously, I don't know if I would have for sure, but this would have been this is a valid trade in my opinion, even though we had the data highs, because it's delivering from a high time frame gap. But I missed that trade, so let's go over into the trades that I did take. So at this point, like these are my draws for today. So if we hit the new week opening gap, I was like, okay, I'm done. But I was waiting for an entry down into those. So as we see right here, this was my first entry. I actually took this on the 3-minute chart, which was not the highest time frame inverse, because the ES inversed this 5-minute. So I was like, okay, ES inversed the 5-minute, and ES had perfectly equal lows here with a daily low. So I'm like, okay, ES inversed the 5-minute, and NQ didn't, but it inversed the 3-minute. So I was okay with taking this, even though it was not the highest time frame gap, because of ES inversing the highest time frame, which was the 5-minute. But this trade was pretty simple continuation. We had this 15-minute fair value gap right here. This 15-minute gap, we came up, tapped into it, got this 3-minute inverse. I entered right there. I wanted to see all this low resistance liquidity here get taken out, all the way down to this new week opening gap down here. And if we play this out, we can see this ended up getting smoked, instantly stopped out, and that led us to our second trade, which was right here. So I'm going to delete this one now. So this is what happened here is we just generated more lows here, which is great. We're still inside this 15-minute gap. Now, we did not sweep out this 30-minute or this 15-minute gap on either index, but we did create this big ol' 15-minute rejection wick right here. So this trade was based off of this rejection wick getting hit and respected. Now I did enter off the 5-minute gap right here. The 5-minute inverse was my entry. And in my head, even though we are close to this 30-minute gap and this 15-minute gap, if these were going to get hit, we would respect this gap and continue higher to them and then get our entry lower. But we respected the 15-minute rejection block. Let me put that on here actually. But we respected this 15-minute rejection block, and then obviously the IFVG is our confirmation. And then this trade ended up taking almost an hour to hit full TP. And if we play this out, we can see it does end up hitting full TP all the way down to that new week opening gap. My break-even point was this first internal low right here. But again, this trade was just super nice because we had generated all of these lows leading down to this new week opening gap, and ES still had these perfectly equal lows right here intact. and we just generated lots of lows down to those draws. So that's why this trade was such a good trade. It took way longer than I wanted it to, and it took forever, which was annoying. It took almost an hour. Literally, I entered at 10:45 and it didn't hit till like 11:35. So literally 50-minute trade, but it's worth the wait. A 1 to 2 to make up for our loss, to make up for our first loss, and put 1R on top of it. So we ended up. So we ended up 1R on the day with our 2 trades. But overall, both were good trades in my opinion. I don't think the first one was a bad trade by any means. It just did not end up playing out. And actually, it could have played out if you took the 5-minute and you just put your stop. Oops. If you just took the 5-minute and put your stop at the high, as you can see, this would have ended up playing out all the way down to, oh my god, I can't do nothing. But if you entered off the 5-minute gap on the first entry, put your stop above the high, and then targeted the new week opening gap, you would have actually hit full TP on this, which is kind of interesting now looking back at this. But either way, still a W day. I do wish I took that 2-minute short off open, and I will be journaling that, as you guys all should be as well, because I did not realize there was a 30-minute gap there. But either way, still took this banger trade to be up good on the day and have a good day to end the week heading into the weekend. So yeah, that's it for this trade recap. Make sure you guys join. If you guys aren't already, make sure you join the free Discord where I post literally all the trade ideas. I post my daily bias in here, trade ideas. So make sure you guys are in this. If you're not, the link will be in the description. And yeah, so we'll see you next week.